Welcome to Defending the Despised, a series in which I revisit some of the more unpopular episodes of Doctor Who, and attempt to explain why they're better than a lot of people think. This time I'll be dipping back into Series 7B to defend an episode that people enjoyed at the time, but have come to dislike or simply shrug at over the following years. This is the curious case of Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS is an episode with a title that is way too long. Seriously, I'm already dreading how many times I'm going to have to say it in this video. I might just call it Journey for short, but then I'd be imagining a Doctor Who episode all about the famous 70s and 80s rock band known for their hit song Don't Stop Believing, now available in a record store near you. I've often seen Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS floating around in worst Doctor Who episodes lists. When you look at the initial reactions, a lot of people loved this episode, but now if you bring it up, most people will just shrug and say, but the thing is, the episode isn't even that bad at all. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS is all about, well, the TARDIS. It literally only exists because a young Stephen Moffat got upset with an episode that came out in 1978. I'm not even exaggerating. The final part of the 1978 serial Invasion of Time was supposed to have an extended sequence exploring the inside of the TARDIS. Due to a dispute during filming, the sequence was instead filmed inside some random disused hospital rather than a complex and nice looking set. Most people would look at this and just think, it's a 70s Doctor Who, whatever, but not Stephen Moffat. Oh no. Stephen Moffat decided to hold on to this mini grudge all the way into his third series as the big cheese of Doctor Who. He decided that he was going to finally fix this disappointment by giving the failed Invasion of Time sequence the big budget modern treatment of New Who. But can you really blame him? The TARDIS is great. It's an underrated storytelling tool of Doctor Who. Usually it's only used as an excuse to get the main characters where they need to go, or as a convenient hub for them to hang out. It has appeared in almost every single Doctor Who story ever, only the Doctor has appeared more often. In the entire history of the show, the TARDIS has only sat out of about 10 episodes. It's a cornerstone of the show, but there was always so much untapped potential. The TARDIS is a narrative goldmine. It took us until Series 6's critically acclaimed episode, The Doctor's Wife, to properly explore the TARDIS. But that wasn't a literal physical exploration. It was more of an emotional character study of the iconic blue box. I actually agree with old Steve-O. It's disappointing that the sequence in Invasion of Time is just a bunch of industrial looking grey and brown walls. For an alien time machine that goes on infinitely, you'd think there would be a bit more to see. It should be a bit more jazzy.
Too jazzy?
For ages we'd get glimpses and references to the depth of the TARDIS. Sure, we got things like the Eye of Harmony and the Zero Room, but we never really got anything truly rewarding and substantial, just the ever-changing console room. So I get why Moffat said, F it, let's make a whole episode set in the TARDIS. I love the idea of exploring the very depths of the old blue box. I think Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS uses its setting perfectly. It captures the disorientating and terrifying nature of an infinitely large building. The episode captures the same kind of mysterious horror of Infinite IKEA, which is a great SCP story, I highly recommend. With such a large space, there's bound to be danger and the fear of being lost forever. By exploring the depths of the TARDIS, a whole new world opens up. We got to see previously unseen rooms like the library, observatory, and Moffat's favourite TARDIS room, the swimming pool.
I was in the swimming pool.
You said you were in the library.
So was the swimming pool.
Or should I just pop down to the swimming pool for a few lengths?
Amy, Rory, open all the doors to the swimming pool! Goodbye, swimming pool!
Seriously, it's like his fetish. The episode is visually stunning. It is beautifully shot. Series 7 production designer Michael Pickwood did a fantastic job with all of the sets in this episode. There is truly a sense of cohesion throughout. You know it's the same setting. Even when the Doctor and Clara end up on the side of a cliff, you still believe it's inside the TARDIS, because the TARDIS is truly infinite. Both Pickwood and director Matt King do such a great job in fully realising the potential of the episode. The result is one of the most cinematic episodes of the New Who era. The monsters in Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS are actually pretty intimidating. The image of the two fused together time zombies probably gave a lot of kids nightmares at the time. Not only are they designed well, they're intimidating in their purpose. I've seen theories that they weren't actually trying to attack the protagonists, but rather chase their still alive versions away from the Eye of Harmony in the hopes that it would stop the time zombies being created. They ended up causing their own creation, but when you're a crispy zombie monster, I don't think you're really in the most rational state of mind. And besides, they kind of represent the inevitability of time. We're all constantly running away from time, but it catches up to us all in the end, whether we want it to or not. Many people have criticised the lack of plot in the episode, calling attention to the aforementioned fact that the episode only exists to run around the TARDIS. However, the episode is all about trust. It's the main theme. Clara needs to trust the Doctor about the time zombies, and the Doctor needs to trust Clara that she's just a normal woman, not some kind of mystery like he thinks. On the flip side, it's also about the abuse of trust, which is what the Van Baalen brothers represent. They abuse their younger brother's trust by convincing him that he's an android so they can make more money. Alright Trotsky, calm down. It's a cautionary tale as to how much you should trust someone, because trust is a two-way street, as the old cliche goes. A lot of criticism is also directed towards the ending of the episode. The climax sees the Doctor pressing a big reset button to put everything neatly back as it was to begin with. Most times I'd agree and say, yeah, it's a huge, lazy cop-out. It's basically in tier F of endings alongside the classic, "It was all a dream." However, I feel like it can be excused this time around. Doctor Who is a time travel show. You can have some wiggle room with endings that revert back to the beginning of the episode. You can't point at this episode and say nothing happened. Yes, the events were undone, but there are ripples. The Van Baalen brothers are influenced by the Doctor into becoming better people, even though the events of the episode no longer happen to them. Clara remembers the events during Name of the Doctor, and most importantly, the Doctor himself remembers it all. It makes him take a long look at himself and how he's been treating Clara, which is why he asks if she feels safe travelling with him.
Do you feel safe?
Of course.
Just because the physical events of the story no longer happened doesn't mean the emotional side disappeared. They lingered on, sending ripples out into the wider Series 7B story arc, especially because we continue to see a darker side of the Doctor in this episode. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS doesn't deserve its mostly apathetic reception. I think people have started to dislike the episode in hindsight because of the negative reception to Series 7 as a whole. It's a well shot and visually stunning exploration of the show's most used, yet most underappreciated location. Despite being made to scratch Moffat's specific TARDIS exploration itch, the episode builds a solid story which explores trust and its boundaries. It continues the running theme of the Impossible Girl arc as best as a filler episode possibly could. At the end of the day, it's just a fun little Doctor Who story. It doesn't try to be high art or anything. It's just a good little episode that does its job well. Hell, it could have been a lot worse. The original plan was to have school children invade the TARDIS. Thank God Moffat shut that one down. But seriously, who doesn't like seeing more of the TARDIS? Throughout almost all of the show, we were limited to console rooms, the occasional wardrobe, and that's pretty much it. We deserved a proper exploration of the setting, and that's what the episode was for. So it's worth the price of admission for that alone. And hey, it's the BBC, so there was no price of admission in the first place.